Hi, today I will discuss about data-sly-list. This is the most powerful attribute or the block statement of Sightly, which iterate the collection return from the sling model. It can handle any kind of collection, like it can handle array, list, and all the combination of list. Like inside list, you can have string, integer, or any kind of data type. It can handle if you have map inside list, and if you have pojo or bean inside list, or even the nested list if you have. Most of the people are not aware it can handle the map as well as an individual collection, because most of the people are worked with this list, but this is the last use case, handling with map. People are rarely worked with it, so I'll show you demo how these are work properly. So I will be covering everything with the demo. So for this demo, I have a component called Sightly demo. So I have a component called Sightly demo, and we will be using this component throughout the demos of this Sightly series. Okay, so we will be keep adding on it. For now, for Sightly, I have a multi-field with a single field, and I have a multi-field with a more than one fields. Okay, it has a sling model at the back end, so it will return, it has few method. It will return like array, list, map, and a nested list, means the map inside a list. So will be showing how it work. Okay, so basically in this block statement I'm returning a list which is returned by this method. If you will see, there is a method called books. This is returning a list which contained the multi-field items, right? Multi-field I have already explained in tutorial number 13, 14. You can go back and check that. Okay, so this is written. I will be focusing on the Sightly part, but whatever the part required to works with Sightly, I will be explaining that part as well of sling model part. Okay, so this is the method which is returning list, and basically we will iterate this list. Okay, so using this method we are iterating a list. So first you need to understand how it work, actually how the basically list work. Okay, so you need to understand, suppose this is the list returned by a sling model. So what happened, this data-sly-list provide you a variable, or you can say identifier. If you do not this, you can call it identifier or the variable. If you do not set this will be provided by Sightly itself, a variable called item, or you can write your own, right? If you want, you can write by any name here, but just for the simplicity I'm keeping the item here. Even if I do not allow the add this here, Sightly itself provide you variable with item, with name item. So how it work, suppose if you have a list, so whatever the item at list, at each iteration this item is assigned to this variable. Either you define a variable or Sightly give you a variable item. Okay, so whatever is there, suppose it's a simple string or normal data type, either it has a map or whatever is there. See, whatever is there, this will be assigned to this variable item at each iteration, and whatever is there, then you can print this by expression language, right? So how it work, if you see in the first item there is a called Java, and as soon as it's assigned to item, when you start iterating it, you are printing that item. So what will be the print? It will print Java here, right? Same with that way you can iterate all your element one by one. Okay, now let's take an example. Right now we only have this simple string data type, primitive data type. If you have either map here, so how it will work? Okay, suppose this is the method, and it is returning a list which has a map, right? For each iteration of multi-field which has more than one field, I save those values in a map, and then each these map are stored in a list. So what happened, ideally on iteration of list, each map is assigned to this variable, right? Item, either item or whatever, you can declare any variable here. So now when you print it, now this item has a map, not string, because in that list each each index there is a map. So how you display map? Okay, so you cannot directly display map. How do you display map? then you use key to display it. So how you can display the values what a map contain is, so now the map, this each iteration of map contain two values, book name and book subject. So how will you print it? Simple, the variable and you are using get. So from this variable you are getting this book name and book subject. That way it work with a map. And same way, suppose it has a pojo or the bean inside the list. So this is work on the same way. This each object of this pojo will be assigned to this variable, and then whatever the getter methods you have in that pojo or the bean class, you can use item and then name of that method. Means if it has a get books, then you can use item dot books. So that will print the values which is there in the pojo or the bean class. So that way it works. So let me give you now the example or demo of each. Let me show you. So now let's understand how it works with map. Suppose your method or the sling model, you are returning only map, not list. So now this is the different case. Now what you need to understand here is it works same. Suppose this is my map. This is my map which has key value pair, right? So the each iteration, suppose this is my 0th value, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So by each iteration of this list, this first key value pair or the first item of the map will be assigned to this variable. Same way, right? Correct. So now in case of map, what this item contain, you need to understand here. This item, this variable contain the key, this part, key. Item contains key. So if you print this element, means variable or the identifier, it will print the key of the first item. So means at each iteration it will start printing keys of that map. Okay, let me show you. So this item now only contain this key, right? So if you print, this will print only key. So when you print this using expression language, it will print key 1. Right, now you got the key, and each iteration it will start printing key 1, key 2, key 3 and so on. So you want to have the values as well. So how will you print these values? You will say, okay, this is my map and I need this. What is the value of that key? Okay, so what I'm saying now, okay, this is my map. Okay, give me the key from this map. Give me the value from this map which has a key this. Right, so this is saying this. So that way you can print the value of it. You need to understand one point. This will not be in order. This will be in random order. So this key 3 and value 3 can be printed at the first, key 1 can be printed later. So it's not in order when you iterate this. So basically map does not give you in order, in sequential order. So it's a random access. So you need to take this point. You need to understand this point. Okay, so let me show you demo what I explained. So this is the first, this method is returning list which contain the book name, and from where it is coming, I have a method which has a dialog. Basically this is the first which return books, and the second with the map. From this I'm returning map inside a list. I'll show you where the functions are. You will get this code definitely in my Git repo. You can get it from there. Okay, so let me quickly show you. I have already explained all this, how it work in Sightly sling model tutorials. So this is my first method which return a list of books. This is my second method which return the list containing maps of each iteration of that multi-field, and this is simply return this map. Okay, so this I used here, and once I deploy this code, everything is available here, right? Okay, now understand, this is the map. Let me show you quickly. This is basically the map. This is list and this is simple list. Okay, this is list with string, this is list with map, and these are values from the map only. Okay, Okay, let's take one more use case here now. Suppose I have 8 item inside this list, right, which return from Sling model. So suppose I want to display only 4 items. So how will you do that? Basically these things are done in Sling model, but Sightly provide you a very good and handsome way of doing it in Sightly itself, right? So suppose you want to display only 4 items of this list using the map, oh sorry, the list. So how you can do that? So let's go. For simplicity, I'm removing this. You definitely get this code, so get it from there. So now what you can do, you can control this loop or iteration, right? How will you do that? There is a 3 variable given by Sightly: begin, end, and step. Using this, I'm sure you have not used this because these kind of operation are performed this in backend Sling model. But let me explain how easy it is to do in Sightly itself. Okay, so using this begin and end, you can control your loop. So what I'm saying here is at the rate you have to use. Okay, I'm saying begin from 0. Understand one point here is this is index based, not count based. Means 0 means the first index. Okay, and end is 3. So it's saying okay, start from 0 and end at 3. So that means display the 4 elements. Okay, so let me show you. I just added this and updated the code. So this is the before that, right? I did not refresh it. Before that it has 8 elements, and let me refresh it. So it is showing now 4. So that way you can control your loop, means this list in Sightly itself. You don't need to do it at the back end. Okay, let me do it one more thing. Even you can change your begin as well. Okay, let me show you. Let's start with 3 and go till 6. That means 3, 4, 5, 6, the 4 elements. Okay, save it and deploy it. Okay, it's done. And let's see, before that it is there. Let me refresh it. Oh, see the change. But you right now you don't understand which one is. You need to remember it. Let me give you one more point here. Suppose you want to display the index of this each item, right? Or you want to display the count of each item. So how will you do that? That is also important, right? You want something like, you want in front end itself, you want index or the count. So you don't need to return any variable from Sling model itself. Sightly provide you is some one functionality to do that. Let me show you how it works. So Sightly provide you a number of methods to get index, count, even, odd, first, last. Okay, the simple the funda is same. So how will you get that? You have to use this variable, whatever you assign there. If you do not add it, Sightly provide you itself as a item. With this item, append list, right? With this variable, append list here. So use the complete variable now, and then you can use count here. So whatever the count of this element will be displayed. That way you can use the number of things like count, index, first, last, even, odd, middle. This kind of methods are available. So let me show you all. First let's run this so that you can understand how it works. Then I'll show you the other methods as well. Okay, so you will be seeing here now this count is available. Book number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why from 2? Because I'm using this loop or the list starting from the first item. First index means the second item. Okay, it's going till the 6, so that means the 7 items from 0. So one more thing, let me show you here in this list. The same way you can use others as well. Before I show you one more thing, like the loop in Java, you can define the step as well. So how many iteration you will perform at each, means how many step do you want to skip at each iteration, means now it's increasing one by one. You can control that as well. So let me show you. There is a call step. I'm saying step is equal to 2. Right now what will happen, let me start from 0 and from 7 because we have 8, or you can give any number. It's not necessary. It will iterate only till that the elements you have in collection. Okay, but let me show you till 7 for now. So now what it should display? It should display 0th element, means the element as 0, then 2, 4, this way. Okay, because I define the step is equal to 2. So each iteration it will step at 2, means it will skip 1. Okay, let me deploy it and check. Okay, let me refresh it. So you will be seeing here it is displaying 1, 3, 5, 7. Right, that way it will work. So you can define this as well, step as well. Right, so let me show you the other methods which is available. Let me remove this loop for now, these variables. Now it will display all. Okay, let me write others. So this way you can use index. You can define index. The first item, it will check true or false, means if it is the first item of list it will return true. If it is a middle item it will return true, otherwise false. What is the middle? Other than the first and last, all elements are the middle elements. Okay, let me give you others. Okay, so middle is the last. If it is a last, then it true. If it is odd, it will give true, otherwise false. The same way even also work. So let me deploy this code and let me show you, okay, how it works. You will understand this quickly. Okay, just refresh it. See, so it is showing it has an 8 item index. The first item, this is my first item, this is my second, this is my third. So you will be seeing here it is showing the index is 1. This is because it's a first item, it is showing true. It's a middle, no, it's a false. It's a last, no, false. Odd, okay, it's odd, true, even, false. The same way it will work, right? Now it's saying middle is equal to true, first is equal to false, and last is equal to false. That way you can add condition based on these. So that much functionality is available. You don't need to implement this kind of functionality at back end specifically. You can handle it in front end itself. Okay, so that way with this list there is a one more attribute, same kind of attribute or block statement available called repeat, data-sly-repeat. Okay, this has exactly the same functionality. Whatever I explained for the list, same will apply to repeat as well, right? Then you must have a question, then why Sightly provide you 2 iterators of the same kind? So to understand this, you need to look in the view source of that page. Okay, so simply for the simplicity, I'm only adding the one book item. Okay, book name. So I added one, this is the list, and with this is the repeat. So if I go and the page, let me close this first. So you will see there is no difference at all. There is the first one from the list and the second one from the repeat. So what is the difference? To understand difference, you have to look into the view source of this page, so you can better understand this. Okay, let me open the view source of this. Okay, let me open side by side. Let me select this. Okay, this one. So you see the repeat. Now you will be seeing here the 2. So I added, if you check, just for identification, I added a class so that you can identify the div as well. For list I added a class list, for repeat I added a class repeat. Okay, so let's check that. So this div, if you see the list, this is the div, and inside div it iterated in paragraphs, right? What I added inside a paragraph. If you see, this is the list and everything what added inside this paragraph. So this paragraph is iterated and this list is at once, this item, this container, what you can call it, okay, outside. But in case of repeat, this container is also repeat every time, iterated, if you with each iteration. But in case of list it is not, so that you understand here. For list I have the parent div at once and the inside element as repeated, means iterated every time. But in case of repeat, whole container is also repeat. The first iteration, the repeat means that whole, means this complete block has been repeated every time. Okay, you see, just open it and now you will be see the book 1. So rather than repeating the inner element, the whole block is repeat every time. This is for the first. See, this is for the first, this is for the second iteration, and this is for the third iteration. The whole iteration is repeat, but in case of this list, only the inner items, the inner, these only the inner are iterated. That's the difference. And this is for repeat, or this is list, right? So you must understand the difference. When you want the whole container repetition or iteration as each iteration, you should use repeat. If you want that only the inner items will be iterated, then you should use list. Example is when you are using the simple list, the inner, you can add this tag, this. If you want to display a list, so you can add ul here, and the inner tags you can add this other ol or whatever you want to do it. Okay, so that way it work. I hope you understand the data-sly-list and data-sly-repeat. Yeah, I took a lot of time to explain it because this is very important, and I guess everywhere this is used. For rest of the tutorial, I'll not take that much of time because those are very limited and scope is very limited. So I quickly explain those other attributes. Okay, I hope you understood. Thank you very much.